Hi guys, finally got around to buying myself a camera and I'm here to introduce my latest project. No guesses, no points for guessing that it's Payoff pitch baseball, and I'm doing the 2018 season replay. That's the full season. Now, many of you know me and have chatted to me know that I hate American League DH baseball. It's just an excuse for people who can't bat, and or for people who can bat and can't feel. But my general replays are the Mets, the Cardinals, and obviously NL. So I'm doing something quite different this time. As I said, it's a full season, every single game. Oh, well, that's an awful lot of games. And obviously not everyone is going to be played using these things and these things, the cards. What Payoff pitch has done is for the 2018 season, they have created a quick play. So what I did is I downloaded the schedule and took a D20, and for every single day of the season I rolled a D20, and if there was a game that came up under that number, so if I rolled a 5 and there was at least 5 games, then the 5th game is the game that I'm going to play that day, which does mean, interestingly enough, that some of them have game days where there are no games at all, so I just play all of them on fast replay, and I'll show you that later on. So what this is as lineups for every game that I play, including the benches, because MLB.com, as I'm now a subscriber, allow you to see the as played lineups and the bench players that don't get used, so I can actually physically play the correct lineups. Injuries, if anybody gets injured, they're just injured for that game or the rest of that game. If they're thrown out the game, then they're thrown out for the rest of that game. So let me show you how far I've got. The first game of the season on opening day, I actually had a game, and it was Boston and Tampa. So if you can see here, Tampa lost 2-0, and actually the game was won on a suicide squeeze, which because it was such a boring game, I had to do something. But then again, it's American League, and then all the other games are played as fast play, and at the end of it I then work out what the standings are. So as you'll see as I go through this, see if I can find one. Bear with me, guys, and girls, of course, if Bob is there. How rude of me, but I'm sure she'll forgive me for that one. As you can see there's no red line, no game in red, because I didn't play a game on this day. They were all done through fast replay, and then so was the following ones. All of those games were done through fast replay. It must have been a very high number on the D20 that day. And then obviously, as you can see here, this line here, the Mets and Washington, that's the game that I played. So currently, if we go to the last game that I played, which was the 18th of April, yesterday I played it, and it was Cincinnati at Milwaukee, and Milwaukee beat Cincinnati 8-3, and that is the position of the standings as we currently stand. Let's see if I can zoom that in a bit more and make it a bit easier to read. It's not a very good high resolution, this, but I'm sure as I get used to the camera I'll get better at it. Anyway, Payoff pitch, brilliant game, love the game. Unfortunately, the being over in the UK, it costs a fortune to get any game over here because of the high cost of customs, so I got it on PDF, which is brilliant because I got it very quickly. But oh dear, 200 sheets, I think it was, just under, of players and ballparks, etc., and fast action cards. If you're going to play this game, I highly recommend this. These makes it very, very, very quick to play a game. And it works out okay. It's not as random as throwing 4 dice, obviously, but it's random enough, and you shuffle them every 3 innings, so you're not going all the way through the pack every time. So, quick play. You are supplied with this for the 2018 season. Each team has been given a grading. So, as you can see, Baltimore are an F with a 3, and there's some adjustments down here only for the American League, funnily enough, which are the only ones that need adjusting, because obviously their precious little pitchers don't want to swing the bat, so it gives them a bit of a chance somewhere else. New York Mets are a D, blah blah blah. So let's pick 2 teams here: New York Mets and Detroit. So quite lucky, I've got an American League and a National League team. So New York Mets, National League, at Detroit, American League. So you look at New York Mets and you see they are a D, and you look at Detroit and you see they're an F. So it's a D team against an F team. And the American League, because the American League team are at home, you would use the American League results chart here. If it were the other way around, New York at home, you would use this chart. This is NL, this is the AL, so you play at the home park. So let's say it stays National League. So D against F. So we're looking D against F. 2 to 6 or 8 is the favored team, which is New York. 7 to 9 or 9 to 12 is the unfavored team. So you roll them and it's a 7. So that would mean that Detroit have won the game. You then take all 4 dice and you roll them again. And the first thing you look at is the total of the 2 D6s. And at Detroit, it says a shutout is a 2, and we've got a 6 here. Now, if that would have been a 1 and a 1, then that means that Detroit have got a shutout, and the 68, you would come down to the shutout, look for 68, and Detroit would win 11-0. But we didn't have that. I think we had a 6. 3 and 3. So what you do then is you say, right, so 3 and 3, it's not a shutout, so the result is 8-6 to Detroit, because the highest D10 is 8 and the lowest is 6, and that's your score, 8-6. Now, if one of these D10s is a 0, then you come down to the normal result and you look at the 6, and Detroit would win 3-1. If both was a 6, you would come over here to the big game results and you roll them again, and this will give you the result of the big game. And you take 31, and 31 gives you a score of 5-4. So Detroit win 5-4. Now, if this would have been 71, then 62 to 75 is 12. So Detroit scored 12, and then you add the 2 D6s together at 6, and New York score 3. And so, as you can see, it's quite an easy sort of way of working out the results. Once you get used to them, it comes very, very quickly. And my next week's fixtures are actually a non-game week. So what I can do is I'll give you the teams that are playing, and we'll just run through the games. So the first game, this is Thursday, April the 19th, 2018. Boston Red Sox, Los Angeles Angels. So Boston are an A with a 1, and the 1 is if opponent is an A, change the rating to B. Los Angeles is a D. 4 is when home team, change rating to C. So it's an A against a C. So put that there. Roll the 2 dice. 2, A against C. 2 is the favourite, so Boston win. 10 or 11 is a shutout, and it's 10. So 64 means that Boston beat the Los Angeles Angels 11-0. And that is that game over. The next game on this day is San Francisco Giants at Arizona Diamondbacks. San Francisco are a D, Arizona are a C, so it's C against D in the National League. The number is 7, so the underdog win, which is the D, which is San Francisco. So we'll do them again. San Francisco need a 7 or a 12, and it isn't. So we have two different numbers on the D10s. So San Francisco 5, Arizona 3. New York Mets, Atlanta Braves is the next game that's coming up.